Well, so you want to move to Montclair, New Jersey. I did too. I actually did. I lived there for 5 years. No, actually, I lived there for 6 years and I've renovated a couple properties there, sold a ton of homes there. I'm Jonathan Green. I run a real estate team called Streamline Properties on Market. You can see it on the window. We're brokered by eXp Realty. I'm also an investor, been investing in real estate for 30 years, so I understand market dynamics very, very well. Montclair, New Jersey is a super attractive market. Everybody wants to live there. Access to the city is great. What I'm going to give you today are the pros and cons of living in Montclair. And I can tell you that there really aren't traditional cons. I mean, there are, but you'll find out soon that they're really about access to what you can get there for the money. So your pros for living in Montclair from somebody who's lived there and somebody who does business there all the time. We have a huge real estate team. We're processing transactions there all the time. I loved living there. My kids graduated, so I moved out a little bit further out, as many do. My son graduated from Montclair High School, so I understand the systems there. They were in middle school for 1 year while we were there. So here we go. Pros and cons of living in Montclair, New Jersey. I know you want to come there. That's probably why you clicked on this video. So let's go. Number one pro, train and bus access to New York City is literally unlimited. There's like 5 or 6 train stops in Montclair. Very easy access, even on the weekends from Bay Street Station. Easy to pull an Uber from there to get home if you live in the area. It's just direct access. Sometimes it's 30, 34 minutes, depending which station you pick up. Could be up to 45 on a long delay. Sometimes it could be worse. But let me explain. There's also bus access, and that's both New Jersey Transit, also DeCamp bus system, which I used to walk to the end of my block, pick up the DeCamp bus, get direct into the city, sometimes on non-busy times, 30, 35 minutes, busy, little bit, sometimes you're looking at an hour. The best thing about the bus is you just press the button and it drops you off like at the corner of your home. It was amazing. So I actually took the bus much more than the train. So I think you have to know where that is. I really don't think there's too many areas in Montclair where you can't either catch the bus or the train. If you're on the south side of Montclair, the train access is a little bit more difficult. Because it's just harder to walk to a train station, depending on how close to Bloomfield Avenue you are. Then you can get to Bay Street or Bloomfield Ave, but it really depends where you're at. But I really found the bus to be great. Never had a problem with it. Is it a little bit less reliable than the train? Sure, but got the job done. So that's number one, train and bus access to New York City if you're a commuter or if you just like to enjoy the amenities, but would also like a backyard. And a little bit more neighborhoody and a non-city feel, suburbia, but like hip, cool suburbia, maybe it's going to work for you. Number two pro is that there's multiple town areas. Montclair is really big. I mean, it's only 2 zip codes, but there's downtown, which is basically, and I'm talking about amenities. So obviously there's the whole south side. Those are a great place to live. You can get to downtown that way also. But downtown is like all of Bloomfield Avenue, and it goes for a while. Tons and tons of restaurants, things to do, places to eat, places to shop on Church Street, places to eat outdoors on Church Street. There's just everything you could ever want, especially if you're coming out from New York City or from a bigger city. Downtown Montclair really has it all. But that's not the only place where you can walk and hang out and do stuff and eat. There's also Walnut Street, which is where the train also comes in on weekdays. Walnut Street is super hip. There's a couple great restaurants there, like La Salbin, my favorite restaurant in all of Montclair. Also, my favorite dessert, anything place, Montclair Bread Company, best donuts in the world. They're so good. Yeah, just you'll thank me later. Hit it up. But there's also new things popping off there. I love Red Eye Cafe that's right there on Walnut Street as well. There's just a lot to do. The train comes in, you see a lot of people get off. So that's another access point. Egan and Sons is there. It's a bar and grill, great kind of pub atmosphere. There's just a ton to do. The corner is on the corner of Walnut Street and Grove. That's another great breakfast place. So those are just some options for you in Montclair. And I would tell you, those are all pros. Anything that I mentioned as a pro, I've tried it all, and those are really, really good. You also have Watchung Plaza, which I lived right near. It's another train stop, but it's like kind of a half circle of food spots and services there. There's a great local bookstore, Watchung Booksellers, right there, and a lot of ancillary things that you can get, salad place, and other food that's there. Nails, hair cutting place where I get my haircut done at Well Founded. So it's not like I'm just making these stuffs up. I live there. I really enjoy these. I think they're all pros, and I love Watchung Plaza. It's just cool. There's a lot of food, and it goes around in a kind of semicircle. The driving's a little crazy getting through there, but like it is all good. There's also Upper Montclair, which is nearby to that, and that is your kind of upgraded shopping area. Has some of the bigger chains in there, but also tons of places to eat, hang out, meet your friends. It's fantastic. So that's your number 2 pro, is just the wideness of the towns, and that there's 4 real hot spots of stuff to do. And then I'm just going to give you overall, I've kind of already talked about it, but the third pro to living in Montclair, I know you want to, right? I really loved it there, is the diversity of food, houses, services. One of the cool things being in real estate and living in Montclair and doing businesses on Montclair is the diversity of the kinds of homes there are. There's like quirky homes, new builds, modern builds, colonials, Victorians. You've got your standard colonials. You're going to mix in some split levels and some ranches. It just has it all. So if you're upsizing or downsizing, or if you want condos, tons and tons of condos down closer, actually all over Montclair. There's condos everywhere, townhouse options. There's no lack of resources for the type of housing that you're looking for in Montclair. And that makes it overall just an extremely diverse community, especially in terms of what kind of food you can get. It's literally everything. There's so much good food and so many options that you don't feel like you only have a couple places to choose from. So those are your 3 pros for living in Montclair, from a resident and a real estate agent and team leader and investor in the area. Train and bus access to New York City, the multiple downtown situations, and then your diversity of everything. Those are your 3 pros. But let me just get you ready to burst your bubble, because there are cons, but I already know you know this because you've done the research, right? You know these things that are coming. Here they come. The cons: taxes, 1. That's number 1. Home prices, number 2. Number 3 is competition. You've got it all. You have high taxes. All of New Jersey does, generally. You have high home prices for everything, higher than the norm, we would say. And you have a lot of competition. Let me just bring up this grid that I have for you here to show you what kind of competition you have. And then I'll give you my own personal experience for what goes on there. Let's do it. Here you go. Hopefully you can see this pretty well. I know it's going to be a little bit small on the screen, but I'm just going to highlight the major points. So this is year to date. This is the whole year of 2020 on the left. And then on the right is this year so far. So in 2020, the average sale price, which you can see down here for 494 total sales, the average sale price was $866,027. Your average days on market was 30, and your sale price to list price was 111%. That means it sold 11% over sale price on average, which is pretty crazy. But let's go to 2021. So far, the average sale price is $963,656 in a sample size of 416. It's almost 100,000 more than it was last year. The average days on market is 25, which has gone down 5. And here it is. Your sale price to list price is 117%, 17% over asking. But let me just explain something. It's not as bad as it sounds. I'm just going to let you in on a little bit of a secret. Maybe other people won't tell you, but I'm telling you, it is true. The reason that 117% is there is because some agents list houses really low, way too low, way too low. Apologize. I'm trying to get this screen share off and I just can't get it off here. There we go. Stop share. Apologies. Anyway, back to it. 117% does mean it's a super hot market, but I can tell you from personal experience that there's some real estate agents who just list exceptionally low. I mean, there's also houses in Montclair that were listed what we thought were pretty good on value and then sold for 300, 400,000 more than asking. And I'm not exaggerating. We've had houses sell for 6 digits over asking plenty of time since COVID started. Kind of hard to fathom. And that goes to your high taxes, high home prices, high level of competition. But that's what the pros are for. That's why you have the easy access to New York City. You have 4 different downtown options with shopping and food. And you've got your diversity of everything, food, houses, services, everything you could ask for. So when you put it on the scale, a lot of people, including myself, end up saying Montclair is definitely the place for me. I lived there for 6 years. I flipped my old house there, which was on Wildwood Ave in Upper Montclair. I'm under contract on another flip that I did on Central Ave in Montclair. So I'm not just making this stuff up. I've been a resident. I love Montclair. I still go there all the time. We're working on projects. We're doing, sales for buyers. We're doing listings for sellers. That's it. Those are your pros and cons of living in Montclair. I hope this helped. We got a few more towns coming with some of my team members and with me in my new location. But what we want to do is give you real information about the towns. A lot of towns in New Jersey have high prices, but it's just something that you have to understand as you move forward, that there are the pros, the amenities that you get from working in all of these locations. You have cons, but in general, your appreciation value in a town like Montclair is almost unceilingable. I know that's not a word, but it means whatever ceiling you think on the price of Montclair, it just keeps going up. And we don't see a time where there's really going to be a ceiling, which is great. It means when you put money into your home in Montclair over the long term, you're going to be getting value out of it. And that's really what you want to know, right? I hope you guys have a great day. Again, I'm Jonathan Green, my team up there on the window, Streamline Properties on Market, brokered by eXp Realty. And this has been your pros and cons of living in Montclair. See you later.